it, 'cause now's the end. Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. I hope it was worth it. I hope you got it right, because you don't get a second try. I hope it was worth it. Hope you got it right, because you don't get a second try. You don't get a second try. Count it up. Count it up. I sure hope that it's enough. Count it up. Count it up. I sure hope that it's enough. I hope it's not quite time, 'cause it's not time that we are counting. I hope you got time. I hope you got time, but no, it runs out. Well, hello and howdy, everybody, and welcome back to the HVAC Shop Talk live show. I am indeed live, and to prove that, I will look at the chat now and read chatters as they chat. Now, chatters, as they're chatting now, we have Mikey Pipes, Pipe Doctor, Plumbing and Heating and Air. What's up? Susie Dunn. What's up, Susie? Susie, what are you doing? What are you doing? Watching The Bold and the Beautiful, probably. Let's see. Alexander's Refrigeration and AC Videos. Alexander, hello, all the way to Puerto Rico, to North Carolina, man. I feel you. Raul Mesa says he's a big fan. I mean, that's all right. That's all right, Raul. I appreciate that. Yep, I was telling Mikey Pipes there in the pre-live show chat that I get up pretty early in the morning. My daughter started going to these ROTC Raiders practices, and she has to be there at 6 a.m., so I got in the habit of getting up a little bit earlier than normal. And now I'm just like, I'm stuck with it, and I like it because I come down here to the shop, which you can see behind me. Hey, look, I'm sponsored by Beckett. Look, can you tell? Just kidding. I come down here to the shop. I get a lot of stuff done. No one's up to bother me or to call me or to text me and ask me questions, so it's great. I really like it. I like it a lot. So I'm going to try to do it. Downside is I go to bed a little bit early. Like last night I went to bed at like 9:30. But, you know, what are you going to do, right? Let's see. Susie Dunn says she is not watching The Bold and the Beautiful. She's insulted by that. She's doing yard work. So I'm going to imagine Susie on a large tractor. A large tractor pulling like a big piece of machinery. And she's got like one of those Rosie the Riveter things in her hair. That's what I'm going to imagine. If it's not right, then I don't want to know. All right. Sam Andrews says Jay Powell goes live in 5 minutes. You got big competition, buddy. Well, I don't even know who Jay Powell is, and it doesn't matter anyway. So you can watch Jay Powell. You can watch Zach. You can watch, there's probably like 100 live streams going on right now. You guys can watch Dave Rubin if you want to. That's fine. You can come back and watch this later. Listen to it as a podcast, or you can watch 5 minutes and go, gosh, I hate this stuff, and then leave. I don't care. It's fine. Either way. But I do want to know who Jay Powell is now, because now I'm curious. So I'd like to know. The Fed rate guy? Jay Powell's the Fed rate guy like Bernanke was before? Is this like the same position, head of the Fed? Never even heard of Jay Powell. I don't know what. I'm not cultured. I got to watch the news more often. And I know what the weather is, too. I wouldn't be surprised by that rainstorm yesterday with that truckload full of untreated wood and me frantically covering it. Yep. Let's see. Thanks for the suggestion. See you later. Ha ha. That's funny. You would not still be here. It's whatever. Who is Dave Powell? Never heard of them. Must not be important as Zach. I don't know. If I'm important, you guys got problems. I'm just going to tell you that. If you think that I'm an important person, then you need to get out of the house more. Okay. Now you can watch the live stream and go, hey, this is fun. This is a nice little chat we're having. It's great. But no, I am way down the totem pole as indicated by views and subscribers. Okay. That's all right. Yeah, they got to raise the interest rate because they print so much money, man. When you print $1 billion worth of money every day, you're going to have to raise the interest rate to level that out, or else everything's a stick of gum's going to be costing like $1 million. We don't want that. We don't want to be Venezuela, do we? That's the example everybody gives. We don't want to be Venezuela where we have to have knife fights over bread loaves. We don't want that. And I got plenty of knives and guns, guys. So I'm going to get my fair share of bread loaves. I'm going to tell you that much right now. Thank you. Hey, Greg, I think you're interesting too, man. That's great. I appreciate it. But, I just wanted to pop on here, guys. Let's be straight up. Let me be straight up with you guys. It's been one heck of a summer and an awful way here. And I didn't feel like doing much live streaming. I'd rather, honestly, just sit back in the shop and do stuff in the shop and not go out into the world. But I finally felt like doing a little bit of going out into the world today. So here I am with you guys. And maybe not the best time of day, but, whatever. It's fine. You guys can work. I set a little phone next to the condenser and say, Zach's talking about stupid stuff. I like it. It's fun. Or whatever. Let's see. Alexander says, it ain't that bad. They got hyperinflation that they use multiple currencies. Yeah, Venezuela's kind of like exacerbated version of this. It's pretty bad down there. We're not there yet, obviously. They'll be corrected because here in America, whenever your president does awful things, they just elect the opposite party guy until they screw up and then they switch back and forth. It happens all the time. There's people who always vote a certain way. Then there's those middle people who kind of run and then run back to the other side, then run back to the other side. And that's why we have all these different different two parties that we have. All right, so what I'm going to do now, guys, first of all, I'm sponsored by Beckett. As you can tell, they make condensate pumps that are hanging up behind me, a wide plethora of condensate pumps. I will tell you about every single one of them, but the little mat they gave me, because they send you stuff whenever you get sponsored, little mat with all the names of the different pumps here, I have it covered up with my mouse, a speaker, a computer monitor, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I can't tell you. But I know it's a lot of them because I can see it's a big mat. And they make stuff for 115, 240. They make high temperature pumps. They make plenum rated pumps, which I never heard of until the guy told me about them. Plenum rated pumps are for when you have that above ceiling area. Use as a plenum. Use as a return drop ceiling or something. Got to have that plenum rated stuff like the wiring and the plumbing and all that. Plenum rated plumbing. Is that even a thing? I think I just said that. I don't think that's really a thing. Any crap. Beckett. All right, let me knock out some sponsors. True Tech Tools. Use the Shop Talk discount code to save 8%. If you aren't using the Shop Talk discount code, you're giving a butterfly malaria. Use the Shop Talk discount code. Bam, TrueTechTools.com. Use it, live it, love it. Buy yourself a Testo 330 with my code so I look like a genius. And Company Cam. Company Cam, take pictures of your jobs, consolidate them, share them with your team. That's what we call companies now. They're no longer like employees. Everything has a euphemistic language to it. We have team members. We don't have sales associates. We have comfort analysis advisors. That's just how we are now. But however you say it, Company Cam can help you link up your team, your advisors, your employees in a more organized manner. CompanyCam.com. Go there and live it. I think that's 3 sponsors, so we'll save the others for later. All right. How do you get this set up? Nightbot. Is it a plugin? You go to Nightbot website. It's like nightbot.tv, and you can get it set up that way. Or if you use Streamlabs, I think you can use their version of the same thing. But you just go to nightbot.tv, and it'll give you instructions. You'll end up going to, because I know you got a channel with a bunch of subscribers. You go in there into like your moderation settings, and you put Nightbot's channel, his YouTube channel. They'll give you like a link to it that you put in there, and it gives him moderation capability so you can pop in there. But it works great. You can put all sorts of messages in there. You can do a lot more with it than what I'm doing with it. That's for sure. You can do a whole lot of stuff. You can make polls. put them in the chats. It's a lot of fun stuff. There's a lot of moving parts, but you can do a lot of cool stuff with it. But I digress. I don't remember what I was talking about now, but Mikey's going to have a dynamite live stream. He's going to have Nightbot doing all sorts of stuff, but just be wary because it can like time out all of your chatters over stupid stuff. We used to have a running gag how Nightbot used to come in here and say like, too many exclamation points. You're out for 300 seconds. And I'm like, well, that's not really the kind of, discipline we were looking for, Hey. But for some reason, I was over here. Let's go over to Amazon, guys. Everybody shops on Amazon, right, for your stuff? Because I know it's Black Friday time. So I was over here checking out their Black Friday deals. And you guys can just come along with me. Unless you don't want to, then you can click off of this. So today's deals, I always go straight to tools, man. I go straight to tools because I love tools. Tools are great. And first, like 20 things you see are stuff that I do not consider tools, like vacuum cleaners and stuff. They really lump a lot of crap in here with this stuff. Gear wrench tools. I was hoping there'd be something cool that we could look at. Well, the Bosch are cool. Let's see how much the Bosches are. So go over there for some Bosch 12-volt stuff, which I don't think I've ever owned in my life. And then you have, well, this one looks a little bit beefier. Let's see what this is. Is this the Freak? No. Brushless hammer drill. There you go. With a 2 amp hour battery. Get it for $100. I don't really use a whole lot of Bosch stuff. I use a lot of random stuff. But, over at Home Depot, they're having all their sales and stuff now. So if you need any power tools, go over to Home Depot. They have a crap ton. We might should have gone to there instead. Maybe we could mosey on over to Home Depot. But I'm kind of curious about all these deals they have. They're exciting. Hey, look, you can get yourself a light that nobody wants on that one. That's nice. They throw them lights into them sets, man. It's a big joke. It's like you're calling that 4-tool set and there's a light in it. That's not the 4-tool. That's not even a tool. Yeah, there's nothing in here, man. Let me check it out. Because I know we all like Milwaukee stuff. We like that Milwaukee. Hey, Mikey Pipes, he's a plumber. He's probably got like ProPress and all that stuff. ProPress or what's that thing? Viega make? I guess Viega makes that stuff. I don't remember. Let's see. Let's shop our Black Friday stuff. See what we got here. Yeah, Milwaukee right off the bat there. So here's my problem. Like, this is an illusion to me because we have these things that are Black Friday deals. Let me see if I get back over here. We have these Black Friday deals, and you got like, hey, man, this is Milwaukee. Nice, sweet Milwaukee drill. I like it. ProPress, Mega Press, Zoom Lock. Oh, you got every press tool there is, Mike. Good, great. Zoom Lock, which I call, wait, hold on a second. I used to call these Zoom Lock was Zoom Lock. ProPress is water Zoom Lock. And Mega Press is gas Zoom Lock. That's what I call those. Although refrigeration is gas too. It gets confusing because of the illogical nature of it. So, but what I was saying is, you got this stuff like Milwaukee and DeWalt, but it's like an illusion here because you pop up here. Let's take a look. You got this Milwaukee. Say, hey, I'm gonna get myself a Milwaukee drill. I have a Milwaukee drill, an impact driver. I'll be the bee's knees. Everything's gonna be great. But man, it's like their bargain bin stuff, and I don't think a lot of people know necessarily that it's their bargain bin stuff. And it ain't as good as like some of the other brands, the cheaper brand stuff. Because you see here, it's got like 500 inch-pounds of torque, which is decent. But I mean, this is just like getting that M12 stuff that's not the fuel. I mean, it's not really all that good. I mean, it's okay, but it ain't all that good. And when you're buying Milwaukee, you want to buy that sweet stuff. See what we got here. Who wants a leaf blower? Leaf blower at Christmas? Good grief. Let's see. Bunch of expensive. See, there's some fuel stuff right there. You Milwaukee guys like, oh yeah, I like it. Got that new, they got a 4th generation hammer drill that can, do a 25-inch hole saw bit. Man, it's great. You got that nice oscillating tool that can just oscillate through rebar probably. None of this has been proven. Like, check it out. Let's see. That one said 500 inch-pounds of torque. This one says, it don't say nothing. Where does the thing at? Come on now. 1,400 inch-pounds of torque, which they're probably all like wrong because every time you actually check the torque on these things, it's way lower. That's all right. That's crazy. It's crazy. But so there's a bunch of cool stuff now. My favorite one is, let's see here. My favorite one is done by Makita. See, there's that regular M12 stuff, which, man, it's all right. But, I mean, it's not much better than like the Harbor Freight stuff that I have. So I mean, probably probably a little bit better than that. That's probably false. It's a little bit better than that. Let's see, Thomas Leck. Let's see what he says. Need those leaf blowers for all those pine needles that drop off your Christmas tree. Hey man, you're right about that. You get them leaf blowers. You need them. You need them leaf blowers. They probably call that a sweeper, not a leaf blower, because it doesn't actually blow leaves unless they're perfectly dry and they're on asphalt. So this is the thing I was talking about right here. You have these two battery deals, which I think are pretty good, especially if you don't have anything in that particular brand. So that's what I did with Milwaukee last year because it seems like they do this crap every year and it's the exact same. You get two of the 5 amp hour batteries and a charger that also does M12. They do M12. You see that back there. And then you get to pick a free gift. Your free gift. I don't know why you get an additional charger. I don't think I'd want that. But they have all this stuff over here. They have another battery, the inflator. But I mean, you get some good stuff too. There's a brushless M18 fuel grinder. I mean, I'd go for that. I like the router. That's for my woodworking stuff. I got the jigsaw. Hey, one of y'all bought it. No, that was Kuiper. The brushless jigsaw was good. And then you have the M18 Surge, and you have this light. See, it's not Rover. What do they call it? Oh, it is Rover. Rover light's 4,000 lumens. I mean, that light is like half the lumen count of the sun, guys. That's some good stuff. And you have two batteries for it, and you have a charger and stuff. So it's pretty good. So it looks like, yeah, Mikey looks like he's team red. I mean, it was pretty good stuff because I did this last year. I think I went back and did like a couple different ones because I thought it was pretty exciting. When I first found out about this deal, I was over the moon excited because there was all these tools and it seemed like I was getting just the best deal in the world on them. Although they have pretty good deals all year if you're patient for it. So DeWalt has the same thing. Instead of getting 2 5s, you get a 4 and a 6. Maybe Makita does a 3 and a 7. I'm just kidding. They don't make that. But you can get, it's like, DeWalt's kind of funny because you can get like this regular grinder, or right down here is the XR, which is their top of the line stuff, brushless grinder. Who is choosing the piece of crap grinder? Who's like, I want the piece of crap one? Yeah, for sure. They have the same sort of stuff, except they have a Sawzall too. Oh, can you call DeWalt Sawzall? That's like some kind of sacrilege or something. Call them all Sawzalls. They're all Sawzalls. But Makita does the same thing. They have the same tools, except Makita's tools are worse whenever you go for the deal because they're not brushless. There's a lot of brush tools, which is kind of a bummer. It's really a bummer. So let me turn this thing off for a second. We'll chit chat face to face. Take a look at the chat down there. Let's see here. Corey Peters says, went to the Train TCS conference in Orlando last week and met Mr. Ted Cook. Great guy. Corey, I didn't call him. I was texting with him, and he was driving back from that thing whenever I texted him. I've gotten to really enjoy talking to Ted on a regular basis. I mean, I always talk to him periodically, but Ted's a pretty good guy. When I first met him, here's the funny part. When I first met Ted, I was like, this guy is a jerk. This guy's a jerk. Because at the time when I first met him, we were having this discussion about Train, how Train is, I don't know, above floating in the sky, above the other brands. Back when I cared. And now I don't really care. But maybe that's why we get along better now. But I mean, we were going back and forth. He would say some things. I'd be offended by it. I'd write something, I'd get on the internet and say, "Dear Internet, Ted is bad," But then I started talking to him, and I realized what a good guy he was. He's a real good guy, real good to talk to, real level head, and he's made a real good life for himself. And I think you get a bad rap for a few things. If you have a strong opinion, people naturally sometimes they're put off by that. And I think Ted probably puts some people off with that. And then he's a really well-to-do guy with a strong opinion, and I think that might put people off. But the more I talk to him, I realize how much I'm full of crap on that. And he's just a really cool guy. I like Ted a whole lot. And I consider him a friend now, and that's beyond internet friend. Internet friends are like a facade. Internet friends aren't real. You don't call internet friends when you got a flat tire. When you're in trouble, you don't call internet friends. But someone like Ted, if you're having an issue, I would feel like I could call him about it. So I think that's a good thing. Really enjoyed meeting him. Now, this would be a great thing. I could talk about my other sponsors now. Let's see. What are they? Should write that down. This should be more prepared for. This was not prepared for here today, which you were like, we can tell. We can tell, Zach. We can tell it's not prepared. We didn't want to say anything. But you got Yellow Jacket man. Just good stuff. I've used Yellow Jacket since day one in the trade, since being an install grunt underneath houses. There's always been Yellow Jacket tools around me. They're always very dependable, from the very mundane hose all the way to the digital manifold. It's always been good stuff. They are releasing some new stuff, and she said she was going to send it to me, and I'll probably end up sending it out to you guys once I take a look at it. I think it's nothing earth shattering. It's like a flare gauge and something for the digital manifold. I think it's like a boot for the digital manifold. I think that's what it is. So it's not like any crazy new wireless gauge or something like that. We also work with NAVAC. I have the Swager around here somewhere. Eventually, we're going to give that Swager away, probably. It is I think it's 7.2 volt. It's a battery powered tool. 7.2 volt, whatever the flare is, the Swage is the same way. 7.2 volt, and it's pretty awesome. You just pull the button, it does your Swage. There's no more of this, none of that stuff. For those of you who are listening as a podcast, I just made a whole bunch of great hand motions to demonstrate how it looks when you Swage and flare. I also make the little hissing noises. It helps as well. It helps as well. So they have a bunch of cool battery tools coming out. They've kind of led the way with that, with making battery powered tools. They have the vacuum pump. They have the flaring gun. It's called a flaring gun. I don't know. I guess you can call it a gun. And we'll call it a swaging gun too. Flaring gun and swaging gun. I just got flagged by YouTube probably. Ted was ready to give you his business. I don't think he was. I think he offered that to like 17 people. 17 people. And I don't want Ted's business. And he knows that. And Ted's enjoying his business. He's a great guy. Like I said, RJ, he's a great guy. Just like you. NAVAC. NAVACglobal.com. There's one more. EWC. Actually, is there two? No, there's one. EWC, best forced air zoning in the business. It's up at my house. It works great. When I say best, I mean it's the best one I know of. There may be a secret zoning company out there that's better. I don't know of it. No one wanted it. No one wanted it. No one wanted it. No one could recognize the beauty of that offer. That's the problem. There was no one out there with the forethought, the intelligence to recognize the beauty of that offer. So what happens? Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Stand by while I get a drink because I'm about to cough. Hey, can I actually do this? I hope that worked and y'all didn't hear a big cough. Mikey says, what's wrong with the True Zone by Honeywell? I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's probably fine. I'm not sponsored by Honeywell, Mikey. I'm just kidding. I've used Honeywell stuff. I've used EWC. I've used a whole bunch of them. All I know is a few facts. EWC always works great. I like how it's programmed and set up. Honeywell, I got a lot of setup to them too. It's pretty good. I've used their boards. It's pretty nice. Aprilaire was the worst. That's all I know is Aprilaire is the worst. And that might be just because I saw their builder's grade a lot, and that might be where the opinion comes from, but that's how it's set up. I used, oh my gosh, now I can't remember. There was one, it's not second rate, but it's like second rate as far as notoriety. And I cannot remember the name of it now, but it was great. I mean, I remember the little flashing lights and everything. I just cannot remember the name. I cannot remember. Dysfunctional Gaming Veteran says Aprilaire is the worst. All right, perfect. See, 100% of people who voice their opinion on this subject agree. Aprilaire is the worst. I mean, there's been a whole bunch of them over the years. California, Economizer, ZoneX, Zone First. And then there's all the brands have their own. And there's a lot of brand-specific ones, like the communicating ones. And EWC does make the communicating, or they did. They did make the communicating one for Amana when I put in Amana units. And it was very, very complicated. But there was a whole lot of stuff you could do with it as far as setting it up, as far as weighing the zones. Weighing the zones meaning they get a certain amount of, you assign a certain percentage of the capacity to each zone. So the intelligent machine knows. The only thing that they make good is humidifiers. Talking about Aprilaire, and we don't use humidifiers down here because the good Lord humidifies this area all year. And for those of you who don't know, I'm on the coast of North Carolina, southeast coast area. I'm not right on the coast, but I'm probably, as the crow flies, which is going in a straight line, making a beeline, whichever saying works for you, about 30 miles from the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean is the one they put over here. They put the Pacific on the other side. But it is humid most of the time. Like the last couple days, it's been like not summer because it's not 95 outside, but it's been 80 degrees and saturated. I was working outside last night. I got this full load of wood, and there's this rainstorm moving in. I was like, I got to build an enclosure out of wood for this wood. And I was building it last night, and I was just sweating, pouring sweat, because it was just 100% humidity way earlier than it typically is around here. Let's see. Dysfunctional says, just to guess, you're what, about an hour from Fayetteville and Fort Bragg? Yeah, that's about right. It's right around an hour and a half, because the thing about going to Fayetteville from my house is there's no real good highway to take you from here to there unless you go out of the way. So we have to take a decent amount of back roads, even though there are highways like NC 210 is a highway, yet it's still like a 2-lane road going through the middle of nowhere. And it's a zigzaggy path across the state, and it's just not the best way to go, for sure. But I've been to Fayetteville a few times, Fort Bragg area. We had some events like camps for our children. We drove over there, and it's about an hour and a half or so, maybe a little bit less, depending on where you're heading. Closest to Wilmington, where I'm at. Wilmington's about 30 minutes away, 35 minutes, because I'm literally on I-40. If you track I-40 down to Wilmington on a map, I am at exit 390. It's about a mile from my house, and Wilmington is 420. So I'm about 30 miles down the interstate. Dysfunctional says, I'm from Charlotte, but was stationed there for 8 years. Yeah. So Charlotte, we've been there many times too. Charlotte's about 3.5 hours. So it's a little bit farther than Fayetteville, but we go straight down 74, pretty much all the way to Charlotte. And then there's a couple of secondary roads we take once we get close to home. And let's see here. I saw something else. Curtis Bowers, you son of a gun. I'm glad you're here, man. I was going to take phone calls, but I'm going to try to come back. It's going to be during the day, guys, because I'm down here at the shop during the day, and I'll jump on here. So if you're working, you can set the phone down. You can always listen to it later. It's going to be a podcast later. It'll also be a video still later. So you can watch the video if you want to see the visual effects. Like if you want to see my my Cobalt 1/4-inch wood chisel. Now you've seen it. Oh, good. Curtis says, afternoon, Zach. It's 2:48 in the afternoon. Shouldn't you be working instead of playing on the internet or watching YouTube? I like Curtis because he says crap just like that all the time. And that's why I like him. Curtis Bowers, everybody, he's a celebrity only because of me. So when he says stuff like that, Curtis, I want you to remember that you're only a celebrity because I interview on my show. Remember, none of the other podcasts will have you on because you're controversial. But I always have you on because I'm just curious what you're going to say. Well, first of all, I'm curious what you're going to say. Secondly, your laugh is like Janice from Friends. And third, I think you're a super guy. And I just like to be around you, man. Curtis is great, man. He's really great. I had the pleasure. He's one of the guys I've actually had the pleasure of meeting in person. I had a wonderful meal with Curtis. Curtis and his lovely wife met up with my family, or a portion of my family. I don't think we were all there. And we what's it, like the Olive Garden or something? We were like something like the Olive Garden up in Virginia. We were visiting Virginia Tech, and Curtis lives really close to Virginia Tech. I'm not going to give out all the particulars. Curtis's address will be in the description of this video. Click on it. Go straight to his house. Throw eggs at it. Put toilet paper in his trees. So, not just an internet friend. That's right, RJ. See, RJ is my internet friend. Actually, I don't even know if we're friends. RJ, you got like this whole mysterious facade. I don't know, RJ. You could be behind me with a knife. No, he's not. Not right now, anyway. I thought I saw him last night next to my building in the darkness, but it appeared it was only a bear. I was like, whew. Yeah. I'm just kidding. I'm thankful for all people who watch the show. Are you kidding me? Don't go away, RJ. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. Desire Comfort Medic AC Heating. That's a lot of words. How's it going? We're going to wrap it up, though, because I'm sure my son will be home in a second. I want to say hello to him. That's young Jackson. He'll be home from pre-kindergarten class Well, today they went over trigonometry. I am here. See, he's there. He's everywhere. He's like Lucy at the end of the movie. He's everywhere, even in your internet telephone. Mikey, I'm aware that ZSA is like a multiple personalities person. And I'm just curious, how many accounts can people make in one day? That's a lot of work. So we need to give it up to him for his dedication to that. He works hard. He works hard. Mikey said I come for the HVAC news. I don't know if that's, I mean, the HVAC news segment that I do, because I had to make another one of those. I had one of those I filmed. I haven't edited it yet, because sometimes I'm like, man, I'm really hard on Goodman. And then I just make it anyway. It's fun. So, well, Mikey, I'll try to have that one for you within the next couple of days, because I need to edit it anyway. And knowing that someone actually wants to see it may inspire that to go quicker. As for today, though, how do you all know? I don't know. Just call it a hunch. Just call it a hunch. All right. Guys, thank you for hanging out in the middle of the day here. But like Curtis says, I got to get back to work. And what I mean by that is I'm going to go outside and sit in the chair, drink beer, and watch the sunset, which is going to take about 4 hours. So I'm going to need several beers. And I will see all of you hopefully tomorrow, if not within the next couple of days. So y'all take care. Work safe for real. And I'll see you on the next one.